In early 2019, one man will embark on a record-breaking attempt to scale 14 of the world's highest peaks, all of them over 8,000 meters. The previous attempt took over 7 years. If this attempt succeeds, it will smash that record by completing the challenge in 7 months. As a retired member of the Gurkhas and the current world record holder for climbing 3 of the 8,000ers in the fastest time ever recorded, Nirmal Nims Purja will embark on this challenge on the 20th of March 2019.
That's a lot of peaks in not very much time.
Yeah.
What makes you so confident you can do it?
Well, I think when I climbed Everest, let's say in Makalu in 5 days in 2017, I wasn't tired at all. I felt like there's a lot I could do. Hence why I came with this idea to climb all the 14 highest mountains in the world in 7 months. Yeah.
What do you mean you weren't tired at all?
No, yeah.
Are you superhuman? You do have, don't you, a physiology that you feel makes you particularly good at this?
Yeah, I think I have to agree that I have this awesome physiology.
What's extraordinary is that the record that you're trying to beat is 7 years, 11 months and 14 days to climb to the top of the 14 highest mountains. You're going to do it in 7 months.
Yep, that's the mission.
These are dangerous places, aren't they? And people get into trouble. What is it that frightens you about it? How will you conquer those fears?
Yeah, I think for me, I have learned the biggest lesson of my life, i.e., I learned, like never underestimate any mountains. Right. And I learned that lesson from the easiest mountain in the world. So for me, all the mountains are, of course, same. I go 100%, focus 100%. But in terms of how the mountains are scheduled, in terms of time frame and how I'm doing it, K2, Nanga Parbat, and Kanchenjunga are a bit of concern.
Are they? What is it particularly about those 3 peaks which is frightening?
Of course, they are, technical as well. But for me, it's just the time frame of course, the technical part of the mountains and all. Yeah, there are loads of mountains which are harder than Everest.
Be part of history in the making and partner Nims in this epic adventure.
अनि यो कुरा चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ नि यो चाहिँ मेरो काम होइन यो चाहिँ हाम्रो गरेर हामी अगाडि बढ्यो भने हामीले गर्न सकिन्छ है जम्मा 6 हप्तासम्म माथि अब जान के हिमालको लागि पैसा कति पनि उठेको छैन है म जति मेरो साथीहरुले जान्छ तिनीहरुले के भन्छ भने निम्स किन अहिले गर्नु पर्यो अर्को वर्ष गर भन्छ मैले अर्को वर्ष गर्ने बित्तिकै त के हामीले के मेन्टली के भयो इजियर अप्सनमा गए नि हैन आफुलाई जे सजिलो हुन्छ त्यतिर गए नि त हैन र त्यही भएर younger guys here always go for the first options किनभने सेकेन्ड अप्सन त सधैं भइहाल्छ नि हैन र त्यसले गर्दाखेरि हामी सबै जम्मा हौं मिलौ हैन म पनि यहाँ के आशा लिएर आएको छु आशा त हुन्छ नि हैन हामी मान्छेको सधैं आशा हुन्छ हैन र त्यसले गर्दाखेरि मेरो प्रेजेन्टेसन इन्जोय गर्नुभयो होला यदि तपाईहरुलाई कुनै प्रश्न छ भने सोध्नुस् है कुनै कुरामा चित्त बुझेन भने भन्नुस् म तपाईहरुको प्रश्नको चाहिँ सवाल दिनेछु
के अरे अक्सिजन चोरी भयो अथवा हरायो त्यसपछि तपाईले अक्सिजन लिएर चढ्नु भयो
त्यो गर्दैन मैले त्यसपछि के गरे भने प्लानलाई चाहिँ छोड्दे है मेरो खासमा प्लानमा के थियो भने एभरेस्ट चाहिँ 2 चोटी लोच्छे 2 चोटी मङ्काले 1 चोटी चढ्ने प्लान थियो तर अक्सिजन छोडेपछि म चाहिँ त्यसलाई छोड्दे उता के रे एभरेस्ट चढे अनि फेरि पछि आएर लोच्छे चढे एक चोटी मात्र गरे 2 चोटी चाहिँ गरेन मैले
I was very moved by the fourth course which was around global warming and climate change, right? Like Ajile Bonma, there's lots of news and lots of the people don't actually believe in global warming and stuff. Then तपाईं जस्तो यस्तो क्यालिबर भएको अनि यस्तो अचिभमेन्ट्सहरु तपाईको जुन पोर्टफोलियोमा छ नि त्यो युज गरेर हजुरले चाहिँ किनभने हाम्रो अर्थ छैन भने बेसिकली हाम्रो फ्युचरै छैन नि हैन लाइक यो त भोलि पर्सि अर्को पर्सिसम्म केही छैन भने त केही हुँदैन नि त हाम्रो So using your success on you, everything that you have, you trying to raise awareness about climate change, I think that's really, really good. And something really different, because more in Nepal, like Tasso Gori, I really appreciate it. Just
good. Thank you, Benny.
Maybe you could explain to the guys here like what sort of mindset it takes to crack on and push through when you're struggling at, you know, at a summit, you know, to crack on for the next one and the next one. What does it take for you personally?
Okay, that's a very good question, and that's a very complicated question as well. You know, like the first thing is, you know, we have that kind of, you know, like, you know, a kind of different mindset and also the physical abilities that we have. But at a certain point, that will stop. And what you need to think is, you always come with the different options. And then the thing is, as long as you see the end point where you want to be, you always keep going. So the first thing what I say is like, let's say I'm climbing and I'm like, and I said, Nims, look, you represent Gurkhas and UK Special Forces. You have no rights to destroy the reputations of those units which you don't even have done much. Okay? And I push that through. होइन अरूले कमाइदिएको इज्जत अरूले कमाइदिएको उस मैले गर्न छैन नि त हैन मेरो बाबुआमा कतिले मरेर कति गरेर कमाइदिएको त्यो इज्जत स्पेशल फोर्समा त्यस्तै नाम छ त्यो छैन नि त I think that, okay, and then I go for that, let's say probably 3 hours 4 hours, and that stops, and you have to think about another thing. Okay, so it's not one thing you keep thinking. You think like probably, you know, 10 stuff then that keeps going you, but you really have to find something that inspire yourself, who you are, and then you just like rotate them. Any more questions? If that makes sense? Yeah.
As well. How can we help you, like raise the funds or just?
I think that's a good question. The biggest thing here is obviously I'm struggling with the funds purely because maybe 99.9% of the people or corporates who I approach doesn't believe, you know, this is possible. But also the other thing is I'm not a big name. But obviously, I'm not a big name in the mountaineering world, etc. Because obviously, I have been, in UK Special Forces for the last 10 years. I couldn't even talk about what I have done. Okay, there are so many things. But I think, so guys, you know, for those younger generation who are here, you know, if you could spread the message as much as you can, and obviously there's a GoFundMe page. You know, if you could, you know, donate on that, I'll be very thankful. And I think, you know, there are loads of, like, I know there's Gurkha community, etc. You can do a bit of community work and obviously support through that. Whatever, guys, you know, if you obviously donate, it will be really helpful. If you couldn't donate, just talk about it. Yeah, just, you know, whatever you want. But as long as you do with your heart, and if you think, you know, we can do this together, we can make it happen. Yeah.
Earlier, you talked about discipline. And, you know, having that drive to do something in life. But in our society at the moment, we got two kinds of people, as people who are really driven and motivated, and they're very rare and few. And the rest of them, you know, including myself sometimes, you know, there's that lack of discipline and drive and motivation to achieve something, to do something in life. What would you say, you know, to go from that majority of people to become uncommon, you know, and you know, be driven?
That's a very good question, guys. But obviously, you know, if you really, it's a very complicated question. Maybe I will not be able to, you know, answer that accurately. But I will tell you what I did. Okay, you know, I think we all have vision. Doesn't matter, you know, what you are and everything. Do you have vision? I don't think is there anyone who doesn't have, like, you know, I want to be doing like this and all. So I think you need to have the vision, okay? And then what does it mean by discipline is, like, let's say it starts from, you know, like getting up early in the morning, tidying up your bed. If you couldn't even tidy up your bed, how can you obviously do the bigger stuff? Okay? From there, you know, you start doing it, you know, and always think about, you got 24 hours, how I'm gonna make the most out of it, okay? And honestly, guys, if you are not being successful on one thing, try different thing. Reach out, okay? But, you know, without trying, you wouldn't know. But without, obviously, you push yourself to do that, you wouldn't know what you are capable of. Like for me, did I really knew that I will be here, I will be doing this, etc., etc.? No, but I keep pushing myself. I keep driving that, right? I was hungry. So guys, be hungry about things, you know, and you can achieve things. And there are millions of things you could do, okay? Just think one of those and keep moving forward. Yes?
Nims, in reference to keeping fit, obviously there'll be a lot of mountain walking involved. Is there like any
other activities or fitness pursuits like you would do to keep fit?
Yeah, okay. I think if you just want to do like stuff in England, there are loads of like hill walking and all. You could do it. You can go to Brecon Beacon. That's so exciting. But I think, and also guys, if you really want to do, you can go to Everest Base Camp. Just put that kind of challenge, and it's not really hard, but it's something. I will tell you one thing here. We live in this here. You make a one phone call if you're in trouble. Your health is whatever it is. There will be ambulance. There's something trouble over there. You got like smack whatever it is. Somebody said whatever it is. You call the police. They will be there. You got everything here. You are sat in this room with the 24 hours in a heating, everything, and we still complain about life. Okay. Yeah, honestly, you got car, you got A2. If you don't have a car, there is a public transport, but we still complain about stuff. But when you get into those remote areas, you will see a guy carrying probably 110 kg in his back. And he probably earn about, let's say, $20 a day, and that's probably 100 times harder than what you do. But he's happy. Okay, and then yeah, guys, that will probably put or show you some different perspective of life, if that makes sense. Why I'm taking so much risks? I'm putting everything there. I'm putting my house, my everything. But why? Because I know myself that I will be happy just living my life on a tent outside the ground, whatever it is. But I also know that I'm capable of surviving. Human beings, we can always survive. That is the default state. You shouldn't be scared of losing your house or whatever it is. You should be scared of not being able to get enough experience and knowledge, not being able to experience new things in life. That's what you should be scared of. Yes, ma'am?
हाम्रो कल्चरली के हैन
हजुर
obviously हामी नेपालीहरुको मम्मी ड्याडीहरु अनि भर्सेस हामीले लाइफमा के गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने पर्सपेक्टिभ डिफरेन्ट हुन्छ. Like we have such cultural differences, and sometimes like the ambitions that our parents have for us is different to the sort of how we see it in our lives. अनि हामी चाहिँ सधैँ हामी मम्मी ड्याडीहरुकै सुन्ने अनि we will sacrifice whatever उनीहरुको लागि भन्ने mindset हुन्छ के हाम्रो नेपालीहरु. We have that mindset that we need to make our humans that happy with this. So like how did you, from your own perspective, तपाईको त्यस्तो situation थियो अनि तपाईले कसरी लज गर्नु भएको थियो?
So exactly, even I said like example from म बच्चा हुँदा फेरि आमाले मलाई के खेल्नै दिनुहुन्थेन, खुट्टा भाँचिन्छ भनेर. छोरालाई फुटबल खेल्न मन लाग्ने. Now when I was a kid, I really wanted to play football and do martial art, but my mom was like, "Oh, you're gonna break your fingers, toes, whatever it is." and I honestly, it was like like a jail. Like, but I used to obviously run out and do things. And exactly in my life, my brothers obviously they said when I said I will leave my job, current job, sacrifice my pension and all. I imagine honestly, my brother, he didn't speak to me for a month. But the thing is, guys, it's not about them. It's about you. It's about your vision. If you have a good vision, believe in that. If you don't have a good vision, then obviously, you listen to somebody else. But if you believe in yourself, stick with that because that's work and that will work. And you know yourself better than no one else. Start getting a grip of yourself and take in charge of yourself. And once you do the good things, of course they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, thanks," like what they are saying to me now. So of course, I think to answer that question is many of us see the temporary benefits, like short term. That's what we see. But if you start looking through the long term, and if you got your vision beyond that, you can always obviously overcome those kind of obstacles.
Like तपाईले भन्नुभयो दिनमा 24 घण्टा हुन्छ भनेर. I think I don't know if I speak for all of us when I say this, but I sometimes get the sense to procrastinate. So like how would you advise how do I start to stop doing that and to actually take steps to do something?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is you need to be able to prioritize. Okay? So and this is like skills as well. Honestly, I'm pretty crap at this. Okay, but you can always master this. Honestly, there's always things you can obviously do tomorrow, but there are things that you have to do today. Okay, so as long as you can prioritize that, you can always be effective, if that makes sense. So and it's also about doing thinking a bit ahead as well. Sometimes we don't think or plan things, but if you start planning things, let's say for me, like I always think about what I'm gonna do next week. Okay, and then if you start looking at what you want to achieve by the end of next week, and you will start plotting those things. Let's say, for example, I'll give a very solid, simple example. Let's say at the end of the week, I want to run 10 kilometers in, let's say, 1 hour. Okay, then obviously you set that as an end goal and you start planning for that. Okay, if you're in business or whatever it is, then you have another goal. I would say, okay, at the end of this week, I want to sell, 20 trips or whatever it is. Then you start planning for that. But if you say, let's say, now we have, obviously, I have the company called Elite Himalayan Adventures, and we work on this strategy. If you want to gain the followers on socials and want to make the influence, you have, one strategy. But if you want to make the sales, you've got different strategy. Okay? It's all about prioritizing. I hope I answer your question. Yeah. No? Okay. Yeah. Yes, brother.
Mate, the hardest single moment for you.
Did my that video I edited that, put on the Instagram socials. Replied about 50 emails. I went to give presentation. From that presentation, I finished that. I was on the motorway. Absolutely, I was that close to break. I just have to come off the motorway, compose myself, and I said, why Nims? And I said, well, this is not for me. So I said, okay, this is for somebody else. And I think in life, if you try to do something for others rather than yourself as well, that gives you more energy as well. Okay? And then I think that's probably the hardest thing I have ever, brother. Yes?
Sorry, this is going to sound really silly and ridiculous, but I was just wondering, in that 17 days, what did you actually eat? What did you take with you?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question.
I could probably Google this, but...
No, that's fine. So, I think, so when we're on the mountains, you always eat, dry food. It's a very light, it's like, specific food. You kind of, eat those. But I think, if I was honest on this expedition, I was eating dal bhat as well. Yeah, I was eating dal bhat and... I don't really for me, I've never, go into this, serious dieting or things, I eat what I want to eat, but, of course you have to train harder for that, right? So, and I think on the mountains, I've been always eating what I want. Variety from, sukati to dal, rice, etc. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Hanu?
So I don't know whether you would ever have spare time, but in case if you did, I just wonder what you would do and how you would spend it. I'm sorry if it's
that's a good question. No. Honestly, I haven't watched daily for ages, because I don't have time and I feel so uneducated because when people talk, and last week I was invited to this show and some of the friends were really big celebrities, TV things, and I didn't know. I feel embarrassed. But I think to answer your question, what I do in my free time is I just want to go to swimming pool, sauna. I think that's what I want to do. I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
No, because at the moment with the project, you're so focused to do a project and yourself. So I was just wondering in terms of how you maintain the relationship with your families and relatives and...
That is nails, I'll tell you. So I live with my, now I got two brothers, next to each other. And obviously in Nepalese culture, they would like you to say hello, hi every time, but I haven't been there for a week. But I know they are, they know I'm very busy. But in terms of my own family, I'm married, I got a wife. So I think it's been hard for her as well, if I'm honest. There's a bit of, selfishness in me. But I think as long as, your other partner understand that, it's for a bigger reason, better cause, etc., etc., of course, without sacrifice, nothing comes in life. But I think, luckily, I have been able to balance that so far. Obviously, she hasn't run away, so... so I think I'm doing okay, I guess. Yes.
Now you said with this whole thing that you said you're giving to charities and organizations, orphanages.
Yeah.
Can we have the name?
Okay, I will tell you. Okay, so I haven't decided who I'm going to give it to. Okay, there's one charity that I know I'm going to give 100%, and those charity is from where I work now. In terms of like mental health issues, I still need to find the ones because I have been just like banging drums for only one. It has to be two-sided, and then whatever money I raise of 750k, 100% of those will go. And you clearly see, I'm not after money. If I was after money, I wouldn't have left this job, etc., etc. So money doesn't even come into my equation. But they will all be donated for the right cause, the cause that I believe in. Because I've also seen, some charities, obviously abusing the power. So I have to see what they do. I have to see what they say is actually what they do, and obviously hence why, and only after that I'm going to support. But that is again, that is a goal, future goal. I think for me now the primary thing is how do I get the money to make these things happen, and then that is absolutely key, because I came and did all these things and etc. But if there is no funding, I wouldn't be climbing. All these things will be done, if that makes sense.
Just to add on to that, you mentioned something about building school as well. Do you have any plans for like location, like whereabouts?
So I think if I want to build a school, probably, of course, I want to build in. I think I have got this vision. If I got enough money, probably I will build that around Kathmandu, but I will get the guys from remote areas. Stay there, because all the educated teachers, they don't want to go to like Rukum and start educating over there. So if we have really good teachers in Kathmandu, but we can bring the kids from remote areas, and I think that's probably the best solutions. And imagine you are one of the really educated teacher. Do you want to go and no one does that. So it's all about giving that quality. So that's my vision.
And Nims, thank you for your presentation. We learned a lot, and your presentation gives us a morale, not for us, for those young guys. They are the one who need to stand in front, not behind, like you are. I've learned that you have decided to leave the Fusiles army. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what is your future plan? Because you have gained already that much records.
Yeah.
And it's already in the Guinness Book records.
Yeah.
What's your future plan?
So
What's your more plan?
Yeah, I think after this, what I'm planning to do is K2. So K2 is known as like Savage Mountain. Okay, I will be climbing in part of this, but K2 is the only mountains that remains unclimbed in the winter. Every other mountains has been climbed in winter. So after this, probably I'll go to, once I do this, if I get the funds, I want to put the stamp on K2 in name of both, the Gurkhas, Nepal and UK, and to make the first ever ascent of, winter ascent of K2. And after that, I don't know. Maybe I'll start making spacesuit. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't thought that far, but that's my kind of short-term goal.
Okay. Good. You are so young. You have a motivation as well. Keep going.
Thank you very much.